Welcome back into Fox 5's On the Hill live this Sunday morning. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now free but could be deported to Uganda, of all places. The man was mistakenly sent to El Salvador by mistake, according to the Trump administration. He's been in custody for months, but the Trump administration says he's a gang member, took part in human smuggling operations. Abrego Garcia has denied those charges, and his lawyer says he wants the Department of Homeland Security to stop punishing him for fighting for his rights. Want to welcome back in Mushtaq Gunja. He is a Georgetown law professor and former federal prosecutor. It's always a pleasure to have you here. This is a case that has taken twists and turns and back and forth. So he's back in Maryland now. He's back with his family. He's going to report to an ICE detention facility. What happens next?
I mean, the case is wild, Tom. I mean, you know, you'll recall that he was sent to El Salvador. That's the one place he wasn't allowed to be sent. The Trump administration swore up and down that they couldn't bring him back. Their hands were tied. They did bring him back to face charges in Tennessee. Tennessee court released him, and now he is, as you say, back in Maryland. And what happens next? Well, I mean, he and his attorney are vowing to fight the charges in Tennessee, but he's supposed to report to an ICE facility on Monday, which is a routine thing that would happen when you're released. And now the Trump administration is threatening to send him to Uganda. And I guess there's some reporting this morning that he has the ability to potentially, plead guilty to the charges in Tennessee. And if he were to do that, the administration would send him to Costa Rica instead of Uganda. I mean, this is very strange behavior. As a former federal prosecutor, I didn't negotiate over where we were going to send, folks that were illegally in this country. Is
his notoriety driving this process now because he has become the face of this, or are they arguing this on the law?
No, I mean, I think it sure seems like he is now the most notorious sort of undocumented immigrant here in this country who will face removal almost certainly. The question is just, where does he go? And again, I mean, the Trump administration has said a few different things, right? They sent him to El Salvador. They said they couldn't bring him back. Now they're talking about sending him to Uganda. Uganda is not a typical place to send, somebody who's from Latin America. So I don't know. The times that I have been in court for this case and listening to the federal prosecutors, you get the sense that the car is being assembled as it's rolling down the road. Right. How hard is it to argue a legal position while you're not quite sure where all of the parts of it are in that moment when the judge has questions for you? Yeah, I would not want to be the prosecutor who's in front of the district court at this point, just given the changing narratives around Mr. Abrego Garcia over the last few months. And typically where somebody gets sent is not in the hands of sort of the federal prosecutors. It goes over to ICE. The district court might direct where they go from a federal prison point of view. So we'll have to see. I want to change focus a little bit about what's been going on in the District of Columbia. Obviously, we're entering week 3 of the D.C. takeover of the police department here. Mayor Bowser has continued to insist that there is no takeover, which is interesting. When you go around, you see, literally, federal agents and National Guard everywhere. We're told this can last for 30 days. Can it go past that by the law? The Trump administration, again, has said a couple of different things here. On the one hand, they have acknowledged that the D.C. Home Rule Act says the emergency has to can only last 30 days. On the other hand, they have President Trump has said a few things that say that he has the power to be able to sort of do whatever they want. Interestingly, Congress, I think, understands that 30 days is 30 days, and there are several bills, resolutions that have been introduced that would extend the time from 30 days to 6 months. Representative Biggs has introduced such a resolution. Another representative said President Trump can just declare whatever an emergency he wants to be for as long as he wants it to happen. A different resolution was introduced to extend the emergency through the end of Trump's term. So it looks like Congress is going to have to act. Now, the weird thing is that the emergency will end on September 10th. I think Congress is in recess, won't be back. They're not in D.C. Yeah, so I'm not sure what will happen. Well, another question, though, is because of D.C.'s unique situation as not being a state,
They've talked about New York City and Chicago. Real quick, can he pick this up and move it to other bigger cities?
Not exactly. He can't take over the police department the way that he has here in D.C. That is allowed under the Home Rule Act. He can send National Guard troops, potentially, though that typically will come at the direction of the governor or the mayor. So will there be National Guard troops in Chicago? Quite possibly. Can he do the same takeover that he's done in D.C.? Absolutely not.
All right. Mushtaq Gunja is a Georgetown law professor. We appreciate your time.